Shai, obviously not the way that you guys wanted to end it, but Mark has just talked about the year-over-year growth, the within-the-year growth, even within the playoffs growth that you guys showed. How proud are you of this group, yourself, all of you, for navigating what you did and managing to get better throughout it all?
Yeah, I think above all, it was just very fun. And I think that's where it all starts. Like every day, you come to work. Well, it doesn't feel like work, but you come to work and you try to excel individually and as a group. And when you have so much fun, it makes everything else easier and kind of clouds all the bad stuff because you're having so much fun. So that's what I'm most proud about and most grateful for, how fun this group has been, and how much this group has taken the ease off of all the pressure and all the stuff that gets heavy in this game.
What's made this group so fun? Because we know all of you guys love to compete. You're having fun out there, just hooping. But we see the joy that you guys have, on the sidelines or just around each other. But what makes this group so fun to you?
Yeah, it's a unique blend of characters that ultimately, we all have the same goal, and all of us are selfless and want to accomplish that goal. And then I guess we just have a group of guys that are funny and good to get along with. But yeah, it's super unique. It's something I've never felt before from a basketball team. And it's hard to find, especially at this stage in your career, something I'll never take for granted.
Into the balance we saw from you guys, obviously the fun, the joy, the levity, but also when you guys were on the court, there was just a focus and a real sense of professionalism. Just what went into that balance?
We were all super competitive at the end of the day. We get into it at practice, go back and forth, talk smack. On the court, it's super competitive, but off the court, we are so close and so connected, and we genuinely care about each other. That we know it's coming from the right place, and we know that we have each other's back. And when you have that kind of feeling, you feel a little bit invincible, a little bit indestructible because your teammates, your brothers, are all behind you.
Just Mark was talking about, and he said this a few times here, but he's talked about you guys as individual contractors, and he's mentioned that you guys don't necessarily need to have that bond that you have, but you do. And so where does that come from? How does that start organically?
I don't really know. We've the group ever since I've been in Oklahoma has been really tight. And it feels like the younger we get, the closer we get. I don't know if it's just because we're all around the same age. But it's definitely made a difference in our performance, and our togetherness on the court, our resilience. We can all feel it, and myself and guys that were here early, Lou, Muskie, K. Rich. You can feel the togetherness of this group, and you can feel how it's affected the group. It's a really good feeling.
Is that unusual just around the league? I mean, you talk to other people around the league. I mean, you've been here for most of your career, 1 year in LA, but
Yeah.
Is that unusual that you guys are that way?
Absolutely. Honest, I think it feels like it's unusual. Period. I've never been this close to a basketball team in my life. Maybe my AU team. I lied. But those guys, I went to high school with, and then we left high school and went to AU practice, and then we left there, and they came over to my house. I went over to their house. But since then, I haven't feel disconnected. And naturally, so you grow up, you have your own lives, you have families, and you go your own separate ways. But this group's togetherness has been special for sure.
With that in mind, you become a father during this playoff run, and getting to being with this close group and getting to go through all of those emotions and experiences. What's that been like for you as well?
Yeah, it's been amazing. A lot of learning, a lot of joy, a lot of love. It's super humbling. Puts a lot of things into perspective. Shows you what like really matters in life, and kind of like it takes your mind off the things that don't really matter.
Shai, last season you mentioned this team like a bunch of high school kids. How do you describe it now? Is it still the high school kids?
Absolutely. We might have got younger. Might be elementary school kids. Yeah, we have so much fun together, crack jokes before the game, after the game, wins, losses. We have so much fun that it just makes everything easier. Even a night like last night, like there's no group I'd rather lose like that with in this group, and it's a good feeling.
Mark was talking last night, saying that he wants you guys to use the feeling from the loss as an investment. Just how much do you agree with that? And I guess, are you trying to weaponize that feeling of sorts? Is there a part of you that's holding on to that feeling?
Absolutely. I would agree with it 100%. Like the moment I stepped off the court, I felt like, well, we're here. Like we've lost for a reason, and all you can do is learn and get better from that, and that's how you ultimately get to where you want to go, and where we want to go. It would be great to win a championship this year. It'd be great to achieve all of our goals, but more often than not, you don't get them when you want them. You get them when you deserve them, and I think this is a bump in the road, and we learn from it, we get better, and hopefully we get to our goal one day.
I think a lot of the optimism from the outside on this team comes from, you guys being so young, people believing that there is this long window that you guys have. Where do you fall in that belief of, how long a window is in the NBA to win a championship?
Yeah, I don't know if I don't believe in like a window or I don't like focus on it. But I just feel like a window is like looking into the future and looking into like something you can't control. So all you can do is like try to make the best with what you have in that moment, and try to maximize what you have. And then from there, you get what you get. But window can be whatever someone says it can be, but I don't really focus on it or really believe in it.
Mark was sharing a story from his first season as coach. You guys were going through a pregame walkthrough at the arena. That was the year where there was no fans, but basically saying like picturing T-shirts over the seats and like the playoff type atmosphere. To now be at this point, like, what do you think when you like look back to the kind of the beginning of this journey?
Yeah, it's amazing. Like you put in the work, you do all the right things, and you hope to achieve your goals. Like so many people, in whatever they try to do in life, do the right things and work super hard and just never get there. And to achieve your goals is something you can't take for granted. And that's something I try not to do. It's super blessing. It's an amazing feeling. It's also motivational, like getting there, knowing what it feels like, knowing how it feels to lose in those situations. It's kind of a feeling you want to stay away from, and you only stay away from it by getting better, and overcoming it, and that's something that is a big goal of mine.
Shai,
all-time greats get to the level that you're at right now, even though their numbers either slightly dip or stay the same, they add those little small things to become a better player. Like, what are some of the things that you want to add to your game to become a better player, even though it might seem like your numbers stay the same?
Good question. I don't. It's a little bit too soon for me to pinpoint 100% and no, but just like off the top of my head, you can always be more efficient, always. So I'll work on efficiency in every area. You can always be better defensively, on and off the ball, and then just continuing to make sure my game doesn't like hinder people around me and hinder the development of my teammates, which is just as important as my development.
Hindering the development of your teammates, like, especially in late game situations, a lot of players are different. Where you have like LeBron makes the next player, Kobe takes a lot of shots. How did you come to the decision to be the guy that you are? I mean, I think you've been pretty open about being a Kobe guy, and it's kind of opposite of how he plays. Like, how did you come to the decision to be? I'm going to be lean more towards the way LeBron plays. Not saying that. Yeah. That's
I guess it was just the way I was taught to play. You make the right play. You like try to keep the defense on their toes with that. But that's another battle that you all go through. As a great player and as a closer, he should have passed it. He should have shot it. If you pass it and it goes in, great pass. If you make it and you miss, terrible shot, and vice versa. It's give or take, you know. So at the end of the day, I think it comes down to just trusting your work and trusting your decision making, and living with the results. And then people are going to have their opinions on your decision, but it shouldn't affect your decision as long as you're confident in it and you ride with it, you'll be all right.
Shai, you talked about sort of like the dreams and aspirations of being in some of these spots in the playoffs. As every kid who picks up a basketball wants to be sort of in your spot, all-star teams, all-NBA teams, top 5 NBA MVP finishes. At what point did that feel like tangible for you, not just like making the NBA, but like being one of the 5 best players in the entire world?
Yeah, sometimes I sit back and it's surreal. Just like where I was a decade ago. To think that I'm here now is a crazy feeling. Like, you're always taught to like dream big, believe in yourself. But like growing up, I was very a little delusional, many would say. And like, I guess I probably sounded crazy back then. It sounded a little bit too confident. But I always had a feeling that I would get here. I just always knew like I could control my destiny and where I end up to a certain degree. I knew how hard I worked. Like, I knew how bad I wanted it. And I was willing to do whatever it took to get here. And I don't think it's like coincidence that I'm here. I think I earned it. And it's for a good reason.
And then you have the Olympics coming up this summer. Can you just talk about your excitement for that? And then there's this new like international flow of players coming in. Do you feel like you're part of that, being Canadian, or is it like not separate enough from like USA basketball?
Yeah, I'm super excited for Team Canada. Get to play with a lot of guys I grew up with. Get to play real games in the summer. That's always fun. Play for my country. Try to do something that's never been done before. Yeah, it'll be super fun. And then that's a great question. I don't know. I don't know. I guess I'm international, but like I'm down the street, so I don't really know. I don't know. I guess on paper I'm international, but it doesn't feel like it.
It's been a few years since you've been in the playoffs, and you've improved a lot since the last time that you were in the playoffs. What was it like in the waiting time, in the preparation for it, and then what did it feel like to actually be in the playoffs for you?
The waiting was stressful. It sucked. But all I could do was make sure I was prepared once the moment came, and that's what I tried to do and tried to focus on. The moment being here felt really good. There's nothing like it. It's hard to emulate, hard to replicate. It's what everything goes into it. Your off season, the whole 82-game season, you playing basketball as a kid when you're 10 years old, like everything goes into playoff time and trying to win a championship. And the feeling, like being in, just the opportunity to try to get that done was like an honor and a really good feeling.
I was going to say, do you get the feeling that this group has like the capacity to win a championship, like what you guys have now?
I feel like we can do anything we want to do. I feel like if you knew me 15 years ago and I told you I was going to be who I am today, you'd laugh at me. If I told somebody this time last year that we'd be the number one team in the West at the end of the 82 season, they'd laugh at me. I think it's just myself, but I always think you can do whatever you want to do. You just have to put the work in, and if you put the work in and deserve it, you'll get it. So if we put enough work in, do the right things, stay together on and off the court, play the right type of basketball, and do what it takes to win a championship, we'll earn and we'll get a championship. But if we don't do that, we won't get it. It's that simple.
Shai, you keep referencing who you were 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Like who were you then? And where were you then?
Yeah. Back home in Hamilton, got cut from a couple teams. Wasn't really that good. I barely played on my ninth grade AAU team, and I was telling guys I'm going to NBA. That doesn't really make sense. But I just always had this feeling. Yeah.
Sorry.
Two more. Go ahead.
So everybody talk highly about your leadership, but what kind of leader do you think you are, and what kind of leader you want to be?
Yeah, I try to lead by example. I've always, I just felt like that's the most natural way for me to lead. I can't ask my teammates to do something that I physically won't do myself. I can't ask them to sacrifice if I won't sacrifice myself. And I feel like that's, just through my experiences in life, I get the most respect out of people when they take action, as opposed to words. So I just feel like that's the most natural and effective way to lead.
About you being in the ninth grade, you said you were going to be in the NBA, and they were laughing like, yeah, right, whatever. What did you know about yourself that they didn't?
How bad I wanted it. How motivated I was. I kind of mentioned this yesterday. When I fail and lose, is when I'm most motivated, and I think getting cut kind of kick-started that, and that was around that period of time. So, of course.